Dr. Johnny Rice, a Coppin State University assistant professor of criminal justice, is heading a research project in Baltimore, a part of a multi-city effort funded by the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Rice and his students have been interviewing young men in order to better understand why they get involved in gun violence. Why do young black men have firearms?
The theme that's emerging is one of protection, and I think that for many of our young men, particularly based on our initial data, they were exposed to firearms at a very young age, and that exposure, I would say, has also contributed to their possession. And so they may have grown up in a house where there was easy access. They may have been exposed to an older teenager, be it a relative or someone in their social network who also owned a firearm, and that's how they acquired access. But right now, I think the thing that resonates most, and this is also feedback received from our students, and I've been in the field myself to conduct some of these interviews, is there's a feeling that there's a proliferation of guns in the community, and I will take the risk of being caught with a handgun and getting arrested versus not having a handgun and becoming a victim.
I'm going to oversimplify it, but what you're telling me is young men are telling your researchers, the reason I have a gun is because everybody else has a gun.
That's part of it, correct. And they also are telling our researchers that if they don't have that firearm, they're at risk for victimization themselves, and that's a chance that they are not willing to take.
Victimization meaning what?
To be robbed, to be assaulted by another youth or another member of the community. One of the things that we know in Baltimore City is that crime and violence are interracial in nature. So the majority of black perpetrators to handgun violence are black males. The majority of victims on the other side of that firearm are black males.
See if you can pull out anything from what you're, and I realize none of this is finalized. Tell me something surprising.
One of the things that has been surprising to me is that the African American men, some of them who we have talked with, have stated that it is in your best interest to not get involved in any conflict that you may see because it is the best way to stay safe. We had some young men that stated that when I was very, very young, I saw a crime happen in front of me and I wasn't aware of what was happening. As I got older, I was taught that you ignore those violent acts, particularly if someone has a firearm and is committing a crime.
Are you beginning to see some kind of an answer for how we reduce the number of weapons in the community?
One of the questions we ask our young men, and again, I want to be clear, it's not just in Baltimore. This is a multi-city study,
right,
supported through Thurgood Marshall Foundation, as well as the National Collaborative on Gun Violence Research. Each of those cities, Baltimore included, are really focused on trying to not only ask individuals, we don't just ask them about possession, but we ask them about how to solve the challenges associated with violence. And we've gotten responses that have been somewhat despondent, saying, I don't know, right? Some of the young men. Whereas others are saying they want to see guns off the street, and they believe that more resources, recreational resources, basic needs resources for young people could make a difference. And so organizations such as ROCA, I think, play a key role in being able to not only meet young men where they are, but providing a framework in which they can modify their behavior and feel safe in a way where they don't believe they need to have a handgun.